Hey, 30-06 John here, and today what we're going to be doing is reloading some 7mm Rem Mag. About 6 or 7 months ago, I did a video on reloading 7mm Rem Mag with this powder IMR 8133. It was a very good powder in my test that I did. High velocity, and it's an Enduron powder, so it reduces copper fouling, and it's insensitive to temperature changes. I use 150 grain bullets, and a lot of people left comments saying I should be using 160 grain bullets. So that's what I'm going to be trying today. Instead of 150 grain Sierras, I'm going to be using 160 grain Sierras. Let's see how those things work out. The Sierra bullet here, it's a Sierra Game King. 160 grain, of course. Bow-tailed lead core. Also for primers today, I'll be using Winchester large rifle for Magnum rifle load primers. So I'm referencing back to the Hand Loader magazine, the August 2020 issue that talked about using IMR 8133. Alright, here's the load data from that magazine article. When I was reloading for 150 grain bullets using IMR 8133, I loaded from 74 grains to 75.5 grains. For 160 grain bullets in this article, they went from 73.5 is the lowest up to maybe 75.5 grains. I'm going to start at 73.0 grains. Do half grain increments up to 74 and see how that works. The brass I have here is it's new Hornady brass that I bought. It's on its second firing. Let's see how these things work out. Alright, back from the range, let's take a look at our brass. We sort of had some surprising results, but let's look at the brass first. This brass looks good. This brass here, this is 73.5 grains of powder. This case right here, you could just see, let's see if I can see, you can see it. You just see a little coloration there. That's the ejector. That's from a high pressure load right there. You get things like that. So that's sort of surprising here, 73.5 grains. This is 74 grains of powder. You can still see another one right there. And right there, you can see a little bit right there. So some of these loads were sort of hot for some reason. Also, when you run your finger over the primer crater, you sort of feel sort of a little bit of a jagged edge on the primer indent. It's another sign of a high pressure. These ones here, the lowest load, 73.0 grains, feel okay, and there's no extractor marks on them. That's pretty surprising to go from 73 to 73.5 and start getting high pressure signs. So anyhow, let's look at our target. Alright, we did shoot at 100 yards. The rifle that I was using is a Ruger American in 7mm Rem Mag, 24-inch barrel. My first load was 73 grains of powder. 3 shots, 1-inch group. The velocity, pretty high, 3,139 feet per second. Like I said in my other video, when I used IMR 8133, I'm getting some really high velocities with this powder. So that's a good load, and checking the brass showed no high pressure signs. Alright, looking at my other loads, 73.5 grains of powder. The group increased to 1.5 inches. Velocity is very high, 3,169 feet per second. But on the brass, I was getting high pressure signs. On the next load, 74.0 grains of powder. Once again, I shot 1.5 inch group. Velocity was higher, an average of 3,221 feet per second. Very high velocities that I'm getting with this powder. So right now, I would have to say go with 73.0 grains of powder. Gave me a good group, 1-inch 3-shot group at 100 yards. Velocity average of 3,139 feet per second. I feel that if I went half a grain lower, 72.5, this group will probably tighten up. And I'll probably drop the velocity probably down to 3,100 feet per second. My real problem is that I only have 1 pound of this powder. This is it right here. It's probably only about 1/3 left. Anyhow, that's all that I have for today. Hey, everyone, thanks for watching. Everyone stay safe and have a nice day.